morning and welcome to Inside Nigeria, coming your way live from Leadership News Studio. Now, I'll be reading to you very interesting stories, and I'd like to begin with Leadership newspaper, which is the most influential newspaper in Nigeria right now. My name is Tion Joseph, your regular host. On the front page of Leadership newspaper this morning, the lead story says 2023, Atiku Tinubu Obi unveil economic security packages. You can find details on the story on page 4. I'll eliminate kidnappers, killers troubling Nigeria. Asiwaju, PDP candidate promises to fix bad roads, revive Kura power plant in Plateau. FG slams Atiku over comment on Boko Haram's existence. We will save Nigeria from collapse, Labour Party flag bearers vows. That is what we have on the front page of Leadership newspaper. But as usual, you can always find more stories on the website. Just need to hop on to www.leadership.ng and you will be served. Now we take a look at this day. And on the front page of this day this morning, the list story says, Wike, I would have won PDP primary if it weren't manipulated. Insists he doesn't have any rift with Atiku. XVP Okowa, PDP governor, salute Rivers governor at 55. That is the report we have from this day. That takes us to the nation. The list story on the nation this morning says, Tinubu, I'll end banditry, terrorism in Northwest. Not governors committed to power shift, says Lalong. That is what is reported by the nation. Let's take a look at the report on the Vanguard. On the Vanguard this morning, the report says petrol. NNPC slashes price for marketers to ease scarcity. Oil marketers promise compliance. End scarcity in 1 week, says reps. Marketers set up committee to track product delivery, demand 60% of daily product allocation. Sign agreement with FG to ensure availability of product. That is what we have on the front page of the Vanguard. Now, to conclude the first part of the show this morning, let's look at the Vanguard. The list story on the Vanguard this morning says 2023, you'll be disappointed. INEC for once PVC buying politicians. Cautions supporters against baseless conspiracy theories. Insist polls will be one genuine vote, one on vote, no PVC, no voting. Rigging will be impossible in 2023 general elections, says AIG. Committee on Election Security assures of credible polls in Kano. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned for the first part of the show. We crave your indulgence to do the same for the second part of the show. I'll be back your way 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. My name is Tion Joseph. Do have a great day.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the midweek edition of Inside Nigeria. It is actually the breakfast segment of the show Inside Nigeria, and it's reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ubebo, and with me in the studio is a public affairs analyst, Dayo Omogu. Dayo, it's a pleasure to have you on today's midweek show.
Good morning. It's good to be here again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pleasure to host you on the program. We have so many papers on our menu for review this morning, and as usual on the program, we're starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership's leading with the story 2023 Atiku Tinubu Obi unveil economic security packages. 2023 Atiku Tinubu Obi unveil economic security packages. The story is on page 4 of Leadership. And the writer says, I'll eliminate kidnappers, killers troubling Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. PDP candidate promises to fix bad roads, revive Kura power plant in Plateau. Federal government slams Atiku over comment on Boko Haram's existence. We will save Nigeria from collapse. Labour Party flag bearer Peter Obi vows. I'll take the leading story once again. 2023 Atiku Tinubu Obi unveil economic security packages. I'll eliminate kidnappers, killers troubling Nigeria, Asiwaju. PDP candidate promises to fix bad roads, revive Kura power plant in Plateau. Federal government slams Atiku over comment on Boko Haram's existence. We will save Nigeria from collapse. Labour Party flag bearer vows. And still on leadership newspaper, we have another leading story on top of the leading one. The cover story says Kenya's Raila Odinga to speak at leadership conference and awards. Kenya's Raila Odinga to speak at leadership conference and awards. And the story is on beneath the masthead of leadership newspaper with a picture of Raila Odinga. From leadership, we have the Punch newspaper. It's a paper that also has almost the same leading story with leadership's leading story. 2023, INEC vows prosecution of voters card buyers, sellers. 2023, INEC vows prosecution of voters card buyers, sellers. Commission insists on beavers to combat PVC fraud. Police working with INEC to track riggers, force headquarters. INEC vows prosecution of voters card buyers, sellers. Commission insists on beavers to combat PVC fraud. Police working with INEC to track riggers. That is from the force headquarters. Same on the same politics, 2023 politics coming up. We have the nation. The nation says Tinubu, I'll end banditry, terrorism in Northwest. Tinubu, I'll end banditry, terrorism in Northwest. North governors committed to power shift, says Lalong. These are the leading stories that we have on 2023. And what do you have to say? And we are not leaving out the Guardian newspaper. Guardian newspaper says 2023, you'll be disappointed. INEC for once PVC buying politicians. 2023, you'll be disappointed. INEC for once PVC buying politicians. Caution supporters against baseless conspiracy theories. Insist polls will be one genuine voter, one vote. No PVC, no voting. Rigging will be impossible in 2023 general election, says AIG. Committee on Election Security assures of credible polls in Kano. 2023, you'll be disappointed. INEC for once PVC buying politicians. That's the leading story on The Guardian. Caution supporters against baseless conspiracy theories. Insist polls will be one genuine voter, one vote. No PVC, no voting. Rigging will be impossible in 2023 general elections, says AIG. Committee on Election Security assures of credible polls in Kano.
Yeah, from the set of stories we have listened to,
Yes.
I'd want to first of all congratulate leadership newspapers as they prepare for their annual
14th
awards,
annual, yes.
14th annual awards, which comes up in January.
Yes. Yes.
And having Raila Odinga as keynote speaker, is it keynote speaker?
Yes, as
Yeah.
keynote speaker.
As keynote speaker is a way. I mean, marks the fact that this award is one that is constantly growing and is becoming a lot more. I mean, acceptable.
Oh,
and,
yes.
and a lot of people. I mean, because in a system where awards have become worthless as the paper on which they are, or the certificates are issued, there are still a few that you can be proud to be associated with. And leadership awards is one of them. And so I say congratulations to the management of leadership at newspapers. Having said that, I want to go on to the presidential candidates speaking about their plans. I'm particularly interested in that of Tinubu, who says he'll end banditry because the people, the criminals, are disturbing, distracting, dragging back the nation.
I was in Kaduna yesterday.
You see, just in 2015 here, I mean, just like yesterday now, just like yesterday, these same people backing up the current president went to town to say that Boko Haram will be a thing of the past in 3 months. And I think he particularly was the one who said that the president himself did say that because he's a retired general, he understands the deployment of violence, and they are masters, they are professionals, and in 3 months, because he'll be leading from the front, these things will not linger. But here we are today, we still have the incidents of Boko Haram with us. And so I think that we need, as people, as citizens, as the electorate, to very conscious of the fact that politicians behave like men on heat. In the heat of passion, a man could say that he will bring down the sky. And so it behoves of the person to which such grandiose offer is being made to be able to read between the lines and make a decision, an informed decision, based on what experiences that he has had and all that. We've had very terrible experiences from politicians, and the current announcement by Tinubu does not give any comfort, because he has been part of this current government. And I do not think I can count 1 or 2 instances during which he made any, interventions about how to go about resolving the problem. And if you're a part of a system, if, for example, you're a kingmaker and you have not on any occasion come to the public domain to say, look, because maybe you could claim that, oh, you are speaking from behind. I think that at a certain point, when what you expect is not being done, when what the goals are not being achieved, you should be able to stand out and say, look, this is not right. We can't continue to do this.
Yes.
I suggest so and so things. I cannot immediately recall 1 or 2 occasions when Tinubu was that forthright in the course of this 7 years plus that the Buhari regime has been in leadership. So I think that we must take whatever they say with a pinch of salt. We must interrogate them. We must be sure that they are not in the heat of passion, electoral passion this time, and so they are ready to say anything to get past the hapless. We need to tell our voters, we need to tell the electorate that, look, this is not the time to vote based on base sentiments. This is not the time for primordial sentiments. We need to be able to say, look, we've suffered enough. We all know the prices of items in the market. We all know how much we have suffered from being unable to go to our farms. We all know what it has impacted on transport costs, and displacement of people here and there, people in IDPs and everything, and all the portions of the budget that should have been deployed to acquiring
Defense
infrastructure
exactly
has been going to security, to defense and all that, and yet we do not quite see any results. The results do not match the amount that has been spent. So we need to tell ourselves the truth, that the fact that somebody makes a promise does not, we have all kinds of promises. I was just writing something yesterday and I said a particular governor made certain promises, and those promises have just remained that, promises. It has not transcended from lip service to performance.
I may interject. Perhaps these presidential candidates should be telling us what they are going to do differently than to tackle these kind of issues they are talking about security, talking about economic security. You have to provide solution, not to say, oh, I'm going to tackle this.
I'm sure that they would have their blueprint, but the truth is, it's one thing to have a blueprint, it's another to execute a blueprint. What I do know, and I've said this everywhere, is that I believe that in spite of whatever health challenges that you say that Tinubu has, ordinarily on a personal level, I believe that he has the brain power, to assemble a good team, which is what he tried to demonstrate in his last visit to Chatham House. But you see, the truth is that he has his physical presence has depreciated a lot, and then also the fact that the party that he brought to power failed. It rubs off on him. I feel bad. On his personal level, I may not have so much of a problem with him, because he could be working as a leader through several persons. If he has the right kind of team, he might still achieve his goals. But you see, because the party he brought to power has failed this dismally, I feel very pained that people will go and begin to also queue to bring a failed party back to power, like rewarding failure. That's my concern. And so if he says, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, oh yes, maybe it's possible. But again, what did you do using the last 7 years? I mean, it will soon be 8 years. What did you do? Didn't you give your advice? If you gave your advice, how much of it was implemented? I mean, if you are that influential in the government and your advice or your input were not used, I mean, what makes you think that even as president, I mean, you know, someone has said that when people get to power, they get bewitched in this country. They suddenly find themselves in a place where they have the title, they have the perks of office, but they don't really have the power. So, you see, it's even better from the outside to be able to influence things. So I'm not really impressed by that statement by the Ashwaju. So,
Yes,
and that's the one that
leadership.
really interests me. Of course, Atiku was quoted as saying, I think 2 days back, that what is in, how can you call Sambisa a forest? Spot on. That has been my feeling also. Where do you get a forest in the desert? I've said that several years back. How do you talk about a forest in the desert? And then when they show pictures, you can see through, there are shrubs. So where are these people hiding? I've always said that there's complicity in this. I've always said, I mean, just like the Abacha was quoted as saying many years ago, that once a situation of breakdown of law and order passes beyond 24 hours, 48 hours, then government is involved. See, you cannot, this government is going to have a lot of work trying to wash its hands off. You see, a whole lot of the things, if you notice in the last few weeks, months, you would see that the government is like in a rush. You see, it's reality check. They are seeing now that men in 4 months, in 3 months, in 5 months will be out of here. And we will have God and the people and posterity to judge us. And so reality sets in. And so you see all the rush to accomplish what they could have accomplished over the last 7 years. Somebody is still telling me about 22,000 megawatts of power they're going to achieve because they are sucking. They have told the bank investors to divest from discos. How is it going to happen within this flash of time? It's not likely. So on the basis of that, I am saying to everyone concerned that we need to be a lot more circumspect. We need to be a lot more on the watch. We need to be sure that we're taking the right steps because our destiny is in our hands as it is. We cannot afford to bring in a government again that will put us through what we have been through and begin to repeat. I mean, you know, they say that after all, if somebody fails, it should be go repeat class. Maybe nine then you tell us so. Okay. So that's my take on that. Now, you also raised the issue of PVC.
Oh yes, I was
only
coming to that because yesterday the papers too were also awash with INEC raising the alarm that many people were buying PVC.
Yeah.
And in the Punch newspaper it says INEC vast prosecution of voters card buyers sellers. And the question I asked was that if you are going to use beavers, so why are you worried if people are being
No.
It's going to be useless.
Yeah,
we're talking about beavers capturing.
I don't think INEC is worried at all.
Print and
the face.
So,
yeah.
Is there anything INEC is not telling us?
No. See, I think INEC is not worried. INEC is just saying, look, why don't you, channel your energies in the right direction? I mean, if you, it's like saying, see, you're wasting your energy in this direction. Please go and do your campaign. Go and convince the electorate. I don't think they're worried. They're just saying to you, well, you are on a wild goose chase. Because if you buy PVCs, indeed, I think that we must give kudos to INEC this time around. Because if they implement the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, very effectively, I can assure you that cases of rigging will be
oh yes, it's going to be
very
and electronic transmission.
well, I don't want to say
too.
eliminated, but
Yes.
because we're human beings and Nigerians
We need
are
to be
very
taught.
smart, they will still find a way by which they
beat
can
the system.
circumvent the system. But I mean, it will be brought to the very barest minimum.
And of course, and also in addition to that, electronic transmission.
And then the electronic transmission of results.
Mm.
So
You see
it's
that
going to
some
be very
candidates
difficult.
are already decrying it, saying that there are no network in some certain areas.
And those are, in many
how
cases, it is those candidates who should actually be promoting this, because they should be proud that it's their regime that has come
Yes.
with this innovation. But you see, it might be, I don't know, it might be a way of gauging their own performance too. I mean, you should be proud, you should be bold, because you see, the government in power usually has a step ahead of the other parties.
Whether you like it or not, the
incumbency factor is there. And then
beat.
again, you know very well that if you have done well, then you have projects to talk about. You can say, oh, we have done this within the 8 years you gave to us, see what we've accomplished. That's not like the party that's just coming in.
Yes.
And so if the party that's supposed to be ahead and confident, if that's the party that is shaky, that is fidgeting, if that's the party that is unable to get its acts together and constantly worried about the innovation that every Nigerian is proud of, then there's something to really worry about in their camp. Yeah.
Something to worry about. Well, viewers, let's go on a break. When we come back, we have other papers on our menu to review. Don't go away, just stay tuned.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Yes, viewers, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television, the breakfast segment of the show. As you can see, my guest in the house is Dayo Omoibi. Dayo, it's always a pleasure to have you on the program. And my name is Winifred Ubebo. We are going to be reviewing other papers we have on our menu this midweek edition. And I have THISDAY on my hand. THISDAY says Alake Onanuga's allegations of Obagbina clears air, challenges them to present their candidate for debate. Actually, I just wanted us to discuss this because it's what has been making the rounds recently, in about 2 days now. And there's been this back and forth from THISDAy, Nduka, headed by Nduka Obagbina Board of Directors, and the presidential spokesman of APC, PCC, Bayo Onanuga, and Alake's allegations. So let's take the leading story once again. Alake Onanuga's allegations of Obagbina clears air, challenges them to present their candidate for debate, reiterates journalists not their opponents in 2023 election, insists resort to blackmail, fake news, bullying won't work.
Indeed, it won't work. You know, it's a bad case for the APC camp. To think that seasoned journalists like Dele Alake and Bayo Onanuga would think that they could railroad their opinions, they could force feed their own opinions down the throats of other seasoned journalists, like someone like Ruben Abati, like Rufai. I think that's like being in dreamland, because you see, number one, it robs them badly. For me, I think that there are certain things you should take in your stride.
You know, these are
I think
also
there are
people,
certain things you
you
just
can't
take in
take
your
away
stride.
the fact that all of them, the people involved,
Yeah.
they are also journalists.
That's it. Yes.
They were journalists. Now, there's also freedom
Of speech. Yes.
and expression.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it's wise to actually reroute their candidate into
No.
presidential debate?
No. See,
They said they right from the word get go. They said they don't want to be part of it.
no.
I saw the so what is
No,
your
you
view?
can't say that. It's like saying that a candidate who wants to get employed does not want to go through an interview. It's not possible. It's just not possible. There are certain procedures, there are certain protocols that you must observe in order to get to a particular point. And so, to say that you will not participate in a debate in certain other climes would already have indicated failure, because what it says, and you see, it's an admittance of the lack of capacity of the candidate to present his plans, mandate, manifesto as clearly and as articulately, as coherently as possible. Because you see, we have seen 1, 2, 3 occasions when the man went off just went off, from the path that he was following, and suddenly something comes up like balabulu and all that, and then you are wondering what's happening.
And perhaps
I
they
think
also
that
want to
these are the
shield him
things
from
that,
that. And
that's
you
what I'm
think
saying.
that it's wrong
They're
for them to try to shield
no,
him
they're
from that.
trying to shield him from that, but in shielding him from that, it's a problem on its own, because you're supposed to be out there for scrutiny from whoever, from whatever quarters. Now look at it. Is that not the reason why there has been a backlash since he came back from the Chatham
Chatham
House? That's the reason. Because you see, you cannot say that as a candidate for an interview, you bring people with you and you say, this test, because I have to do this test, but I am very well connected. I have a fantastic, brilliant team. So when they ask you, what's osmosis? You say, Winnie, you take that. And then, Daniel, please answer for me, what is diffusion? And then, please, Ojo, please, you will take care of. In fact, the truth is, it falls flat on his face. How do you even ask an El-Rufai, Nasir El-Rufai, to begin to speak on security? That's a bad candidate for it, because in his state is a model of insecurity.
However,
so how do you do that?
If I may also interject, we've had situations, we've had debates upon debates, even for governorship positions. We've had debates even last 8 years, was it 8 years, when this administration came to power. Although he also shied away from debates, but we've been having debates, and that has not helped in giving us a good dividends of democracy. So, in such cases, how do you now hold leaders accountable?
In fact, let me help you. Let me help you. The truth is that we have had a pattern by which even those people who do not attend the debates are the ones who win.
Who wins? Exactly, because that's what happened.
It's a funny. Nigeria is a funny place. But you see, the truth is, I think it is totally wrong for any candidate to avoid the debates, because it sends a signal. You see, the Nigerian electorate, the Nigerian population is going to get a lot more and more discerning and more sophisticated with time, and these things will no longer be acceptable. And as long as look at the way that the youths are coming into the play now, you would find out in a few short years that no leader worth his salt will come and tell us that he will not participate in a debate. Because what it says is that you are out of the race from the very ab initio. So I think that we have to find a way to maybe some of these things should actually be part of what qualifies you to be a candidate. Maybe there is a way by which you can fashion that. Look, the moment you're a candidate, it's compulsory. Maybe one of the INEC rules, maybe part of the electoral rules, that you must subject yourself to public scrutiny. You must subject yourself to debates, because the people want to hear from you, not from your subordinates, but from you directly. It's important. It's very important. And then you there's an angle.
I said yes, that even if many people participate, we've seen some Nigerians vying for positions, participating in debates, and that has not yielded.
It has not yielded
resulted in
exactly
dividends of democracy. So how do you now hold these people accountable?
No, maybe we should begin to look at it. If, like I said earlier, that most of the people who didn't participate in the debates are the ones who won, it then shows you that ab initio, they didn't really have a program. And so they were foisted on us through some malpractice, through some mago. And so because they didn't really have anything from the beginning, that's why we don't have anything on ground.
It's really, really sad. Now, back to the next paper we have on our menu, and that is Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard says petrol, NNPC slashes price for marketers to ease scarcity. Petrol, NNPC slashes price for marketers to ease scarcity. Oil marketers promise compliance and scarcity in 1 week. Reps. Marketers set up committee to track product delivery. Demand 60% of daily product allocation. Sign agreement with federal government to ensure availability of product. Petrol, NNPC slashes price for marketers to ease scarcity. Meanwhile, some filling stations have been selling for over 200 and almost 250. Talking about IPMA and others too.
Yeah.
So what do you do? So they have to revert back to the original.
You know, we're generally a lawless nation.
Last week Friday, the DSS had to wait in.
Yes, had to wait
48 hours.
The government cannot feign ignorance of the fact that this lawlessness is being perpetrated, and yet nothing has really been done. In fact, the one that really hurts all the time is the spectacle of you find people selling fuel right in kegs, right in front of filling stations. Yeah, the filling stations say they don't have fuel.
They open
I think that should be a very, very serious offense. But you see, these guys, they do it and they do it blatantly. And if you don't buy, so how do you want to run? So for me, I think at this point, I feel very ashamed that this story should keep coming up all the time this way. Today is DSS wading in and saying, look, there must be fuel and all that and all that. Look, when I saw that story the other time, I was enraged because you see, when the DSS begin to get involved in petrol affairs, we have a Ministry of Petroleum Resources,
but like
and we have a Minister of Petroleum Resources.
Security,
Security. Yeah, that's the angle they came in from. That this could become a security problem, especially as we.
But that's why the 48 hours directive that was given. They still don't.
No, maybe you never know the kind of how they count the 48 hours. Maybe the 48 hours is not yet elapsed. It's possible, maybe, because we make fun of ourselves. We love drama, and at the end, nothing really comes, and nobody gets punished, and so life goes on, and that's why these things continue. If you make a scapegoat of 1, 2, 3 persons, people will sit up, because at one point about 2 months ago, you said it was because of the flooding. That's why you couldn't get fuel up north and all that. After that, what is the problem again? So I as far as I'm concerned, I think the only thing that has not been done is wield the big stick. But you see, the thing is, I've not seen someone cane himself before. Have you seen someone carry a cane and cane himself? I think that's the challenge that we have here. Because the person who should insist and say, look, we must discipline people is the very head of the petroleum ministry. So if he has good conscience, he knows very well that the moment he visits any punishment on anybody in the system, that also indicts him. So probably that's what they're running away from. Because I do not see why people will continue for years, for months, will continue to maintain their positions in spite of not performing.
8 years.
How do you do that? These were the issues with which this party campaigned and got the votes of Nigerians. And yet nothing has really, really, really changed. We're still talking fuel queues. We're still talking, hike in price. And this is a party before they became a government, they did say that fuel subsidy is a fraud. Yet, within their own period, we have had that, they have taken away subsidy, they have done this one, they have done that one, yet nothing has been resolved. Yet, nothing has been resolved. You know, the worst thing is that is that quote unquote is that this regime has really benefited from so much goodwill.
Yes.
The things that previous governments with 50% of and everybody will wake up and stand up in arms. Civil societies, non-government organizations, people.
Even the president himself, he joined the
in the protest in Ojota.
Yes.
So you can imagine this government has a way of enjoying goodwill, and they also know how to deal very decisively with certain persons, so as to shut whatever opposition is about to come. And I think it has worked for them, because again, largely Nigerians are quite docile. We just take things easy, you know.
But not like just what you pointed out. Maybe it's just a point of view. Anyway, it depends on the way you look at it. The people in this, the politicians in this party, they obviously don't think so. They may feel that yes, they have performed and delivered on the mandates that they gave to Nigerians.
No, of course. I mean, you see,
it's obviously why they can come up boldly to say,
you see, my partner in the office. Every time we talk about Nigeria, and I get worried, and I say, "But how can you do this?" I mean, if I have a relation, if I have a father who God has blessed tremendously, and is gunning for a public position that will expose his health challenges, inadequacies, I said, "Look, I'll step in and say, look, I mean, Daddy, God has blessed you. Why don't we leave this?" And this is somebody surrounded by such close persons, surrounded by friends and all that. You know what my friend says? He says, "You don't understand. They are not doing it for him. Neither are they concerned about Nigeria. They are concerned about the fact that if this man gets it, I will become ambassador. I will become a minister. I probably will become the governor of the central bank." That's all they are interested in. So nobody is interested in the national interest. Nobody is interested in the person himself.
Yes.
As far as they are concerned, in fact, there are people who will be willing that, let him even just get there and be incommunicado. I mean, it's good for them, so that they can take the decisions and force it on him. So it's very unfortunate that any party, this party that is in power, would claim that they have done well. I mean, we can go back. The list of promises, bogus list, is there in the public domain. Bogus list. We did. I mean, I said one of the ones that hurts a lot too. Quickly, number one, you said that unemployed graduates will get 5,000 naira. See, Nigerians don't ask any questions, and I keep saying that we behave like a woman being toasted. Look, a man who's squatting, a woman who has borrowed one agbada to wear, who has borrowed a car, comes to a lady and says, "Babe, you know something? I just left Nikon Hilton for breakfast. I don't mind if you join me for dinner or lunch at Transcorp tonight." And then you don't look him up. You don't ask any questions. This guy has no dime. Whatever he's spending is borrowed. And then you follow him. And then after one or two, maximum premium tiers follow. I mean, breakfast. You know what they call breakfast now? So that's exactly the way Nigerians behave. I mean, if somebody says, "I give you 5,000 naira, I give 5,000 naira to every graduate that has no job," the first question would be, do you have their census? Do you know how many they are? Because it's when you know how many they are that you can compute the the expenditure, the financial outlay that will be involved. It's on the basis of that you can know whether it's something you can accommodate or not. But nobody asks any questions. I mean, this same government did say they were going to provide 3 million jobs per year, if I remember correctly. If you check, you probably would have lost 3 million jobs in the space of the 7 years. And then they said they were going to tackle poverty and several other things. So I don't think that. See, let me give you an indicator that a whole lot of persons, even within the party, are just playing party faithful for the sake of the possible cake that they can share. Let me tell you, go to any market in Abuja today and say Baba, and hear even from those very ordinary citizens of the same stock, northern extraction, hear their reaction. They feel terrible. They say, oh, no, we don't want to hear that. That's a clear indication of how they feel. And there are several persons that way within the party, but will be unable to come to the public domain and say that because they are interested in whatever perks they can get.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Like somebody just defined to me, said, is your personal interest that actually define your national interest?
Imagine that. So
you can't be talking about
national interest that does not cover your own interest. You can imagine. No, you can imagine that.
I love. Yes, that's just. It's like when we talk about even national interest, it could be. We say, for example, when we talk about national interest, it could be that what is being passed off as national interest is
actually personal interest.
It's personal interest. But how would you know? Are you following?
After all, national interest can also be described as an aggregation of all the personal interest.
Oh, it's so funny.
So,
oh, thank you so much for your presence today.
Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the program. I look forward to seeing more of you on the program. Well, viewers, this is where we end today's show. Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. Don't forget, same time, same station is another day. I am Winifred Bebo. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.